Welcome back to this special edition of Hannity. Now, earlier today, former White House physician Ronny Jackson gave an update on President Trump's health. 13 days after Trump was almost assassinated in Pennsylvania. Thank God the word almost is in there. In his letter, Ronny Jackson corrected FBI Director Christopher Wray's remarks that Trump might not have been struck by a bullet. Ronny Jackson said in part, quote, "There is absolutely no evidence that it was anything other than a bullet." And Trump himself took to Truth Social last night and called out Wray's testimony. After facing mounting pressure, the FBI clarified Director Wray's comments, saying, quote, "What struck former President Trump in the ear was a bullet, whether whole or fragmented into smaller pieces." What's the point? Fired from the deceased subject's rifle. Why was this not settled until today? This should have been their statement from the beginning, obviously. According now to a new report, the FBI is currently examining what they say are bullet fragments found at the scene. Here now with reaction, Fox News contributor Dr. Marc Siegel and Fox News contributor and former FBI special agent Nicole Parker. You know, Nicole, we know multiple shots were fired. We know that it was one gunman. We know that, Secret Service, the sniper team, shot back. We've got a photograph of the bullet, which might win, who knows, the Pulitzer Prize by the New York Times, coming at Trump. And it's a remarkable situation. We have Corey, who was killed, the two other attendees who were injured. So you've got speculation, strangely, from the FBI director. Is this the kind of thing that is going to help unite us? I'm still perplexed about why he is speculating about the nature of what struck President Trump.
This is absolutely abhorrent. His statement was absolutely inappropriate. It was unsympathetic. And I can tell you that we all witnessed it. It was live on television. This was a blatant and tragic assassination attempt. And I can tell you, as a former FBI special agent who worked violent crime, I was not trained to teach my victims or treat my victims/survivors in this manner. The FBI, you are supposed to have a victim-centered approach, and this was almost victim shaming. I mean, the director of the FBI was minimizing and pretty much diminishing what had occurred.
Yes,
and that
exactly.
is absolutely disgusting. It is abhorrent, and it is wrong. And no victim should ever have to justify their injuries and their wounds, which is what President Trump had to do as a response to Director Wray's incomprehensible statement. It was wrong. It was blatant. Christopher Wray, you are not a doctor. You did not see President Trump. He was struck by a round to his ear. He could have been dead. President Trump is lucky to be alive. This is an assassination attempt. And for him to downplay it casts doubt in Americans' minds. It creates conspiracy theories. And it's absolutely just inappropriate and, quite frankly, irresponsible. He has no self-awareness, and this is the person you have leading the FBI. And that is not comforting to Americans.
Yeah, it's not just, irritating or mean. Dr. Siegel, it's dangerous because there is this suggestion still that Trump can't be believed, that this is a dangerous thing, and that even the FBI, the implication is that for something that is as a grievous wound, he was shot in the face. That it's going to be downplayed. It almost signifies to the American people and to the unstable that there's still some kind of laughing in the background about what happened. For your experience, since we've got Ronny Jackson saying that what he saw and what the hospital reported was a bullet wound. Is there any reason why even medical professionals would misrepresent this, or what do you think with the balance regarding an injury like this that's so public?
There's no question about what happened here, and it's clear that the FBI director is trying to downplay a miracle that Trump happened to turn his head at exactly the right moment. Even the New York Times concluded that this was a bullet, and I showed that video to Dr. Michael Baden, who, by the way, analyzed the Kennedy assassination. He says it's a bullet. Ronny Jackson, who's an emergency room physician and treated this ear, says it's a bullet. He was admitted with the diagnosis of a bullet wound. There's no question at all that it's a bullet, and and the FBI was on the scene afterwards. They know it's a bullet, and they had to correct the FBI director. This is a disgrace, as Nicole just said, because it's a deliberate attempt to downplay what's going on here. Similar, by the way, speaking of medical, similar to when Christopher Wray tried to say there's nothing wrong with President Biden. He should just do his job.
You know, that's a really good point. And I really, in all honesty, Nicole, the statement from the FBI saying that a bullet struck President Trump was their second statement. Right after Wray's testimony, they put out the first statement, which contributed to the vagary about what had happened. So it wasn't really even Wray just having a bad moment or being a jerk. They sent out a statement that said, you know, that there was an assassination attempt and Trump was injured. Like he could have tripped, he fell on the ground, he was piled on by the Secret Service, but it was like he was injured, as though we just don't know. When we think about the Secret Service, you know, we know they're understaffed. We have issues, clearly. They're investigating the same FBI that just did this statement. Do you have faith in us getting to the right answers at the end of this about what really happened?
You know, Tammy, I always want to have hope and give Americans hope. I do believe that there are still good people out there trying to do the right thing in law enforcement. And I believe that there were people there that day that are speaking up. I think it's going to be whistleblowers that are going to come forward, that are going to piece things together for the American people who are going to say, you know what, that's just not accurate. And what I found interesting, as a side note about Wray's testimony, he actually answered more questions than normal. But you know why that was? It's because the FBI wasn't the center of the investigation. This time he was actually speaking about the U.S. Secret Service. You know, when it's the FBI's dirty laundry, we don't really air that. But when it's somebody else's, yeah, we'll be transparent and we'll give answers to questions. And that's how it comes across to the American people. Right.
The excellent point. And maybe it will be with Dr. Siegel, we do
Tammy,
have to,
it's a miracle.
Yeah. Well,
it's a miracle. That's what we need to focus on.
Well, we have to go. He's here. That's what matters. And we'll get to the bottom of this one way or another. Thank you both.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.